Well, the jury in the federal trial of Sean Diddy Combs has reached a verdict on 4 of the 5 counts against him. In court yesterday, jurors were unable to agree on the most serious offense, racketeering. The judge ordered them to continue deliberations for the outstanding charge today. The other verdicts have not been disclosed. Combs has pleaded not guilty to all the charges. We've got CBS News legal reporter Katrina Kaufman at the courthouse with the latest on this. Katrina, good morning. So break down for us what happened in court yesterday.
Michael, to set the scene for you, it was an ominous moment. There was thunder outside. We had found out that there was another note at 4:05 p.m. And Combs was basically just sitting there, sort of slumped over with all of his attorneys standing around him, huddled and talking. And normally Combs is very engaged, discussing what's going on with his lawyers. But this was a different demeanor for him. And they all just looked extremely serious, rather grim. 2 of his female attorneys had their arms around each other. By contrast, the prosecution was just sitting calmly at their table. We ended up finding out that the note said the jury had reached a verdict on those 4 counts that you mentioned. These are the sex trafficking counts and transportation to engage in prostitution, 2 of each. The sex trafficking counts relate to Cassie Ventura and Jane, one of Sean Combs' other ex-girlfriends. But on this racketeering conspiracy charge, they are not able to reach a verdict, they say. And what they said is that there are jurors on each side who are unpersuadable. But after talking with the parties, the judge decided to reread them their duty to deliberate from his jury charge. But what could happen, Michael, is if they cannot still make a decision on this, he may give them something stronger. It's called an Allen charge, or sometimes it's called a dynamite charge. And it's a more strongly worded order telling them that they need to reach a unanimous verdict on this and encouraging jurors to re-examine their views on that charge.
And how are the prosecution and the Combs team reacting to all this?
I mean, it was just the most serious that I've seen Sean Combs' team. Normally, there's just more smiling on that side. They just seemed very nervous. I think the fact that the jury has reached a verdict on 4 counts but is stuck on racketeering potentially indicates something. We don't want to speculate, but that is the biggest, the most serious charge against him. And it just feels unlikely that they would have found him not guilty on all of these other charges, but still be stuck on racketeering conspiracy. And it is just the most complex. Even when you look at the verdict sheet for that charge, there's these underlying predicate acts, because essentially what that count says is that Sean Combs has to have agreed with at least one other person. There has to be a conspiracy there to form an enterprise where they were doing his bidding. And they have to have committed or covered up at least 2 of these underlying predicate acts. So there's a lot of decisions here, whether they committed kidnapping, arson, obstruction of justice, witness tampering, and then, of course, the other underlying sex trafficking and transportation to engage in prostitution charges.
All right, we'll be watching this closely. Katrina Kaufman, thanks for joining us.